He's an intuitionalist.
Are you just going to run from that? Can
You're
you
in a
name one
logical
word
psychosis.
you think I made up?
You're in a
Okay,
symbolic psychosis.
so I think it's clear you're going to run from that. So now back to what I was saying before. Do you think that Gödel's incompleteness theorem
I
is a
can taste
prereq
the beer.
to learning propositional logic?
So you're gonna deny Gödel's incompleteness theorem and what it
I, I don't
demonstrates.
I don't see how that answers the question.
So you're just
Like
a
the
universal
argument,
skeptic.
it's almost like speaking to a wall. I asked, is Gödel's incompleteness theorem a prereq to learning propositional logic? Do you think the average person who like takes a propositional logic course learned Gödel's incompleteness theorem prior?
If you don't, you end up
That's
in a
just a yes or
psychosis.
no, Abismo.
So true.
Are you just dodging?
So relatable.
This is the problem.
Does
This
it
is the
take you like
problem with
30 seconds to
intuitionalists, man.
process the question? Hello?
Oh,
Hello? Abismo, you gonna run?
I'm here if you know you need any coffee or anything. Just let me know.
That
He's
isn't
from
required.
Sun.
That's the obvious answer. It isn't required.
Yeah, so just for the room, the goal here was actually from the beginning just to get Abismo to embarrass himself on logic. Like, no offense, guys, but all the questions I was asking you, like, were very basic things that I already knew the answers to. We finally got Abismo to
Yeah,
pipe up,
he's a
and he
troll.
doesn't even know what a truth table is. I mean, just think about that for a second.
Is
So
that
you
something that
think
like you
you
should be
think that
embarrassed
you
about? Does
think
that
that
make sense?
formal logic, right, can actually give a criterion of decision for itself, right?
How about this? How about I'll answer your question if you just right now, without looking it up, tell me what the truth table is for the bi-conditional. Go ahead.
That's just a made up criteria.
That's not made up, Abismo.
Type
I
on. He's typing. He's typing.
Any
you
like
can't do it.
logic courses are literally just a way to basically graph out like deductive arguments. That seems to be the or conclusions from propositions or postulates.
Axioms can never give the condition by whether they're either complete, consistent, or decidable. So you can't
Wait,
refer, right, to another
Abismo,
set
can you
of
define what an argument is?
conjunctions in order to deliver you either completeness, consistency, or decidability at all. You're in a logical psychosis. You're just going to
Wait, I'm actually
continue to
curious, just
create
for the
words
future.
up.
Do you claim to
All
understand
words
Gödel's
made up.
incompleteness theorem?
You,
I'm just
you
curious.
have a self-referential problem,
Wait, you're not
but
answering. Do you claim
that's
to
not an actual
understand Gödel's
position, right?
incompleteness theorem?
That's actually not a claim.
Can you just say yes or no so that when I
No,
ask you
you're just a
questions about it,
universal skeptic.
it makes
There's
it
no
more
yes or no
embarrassing?
answers. Not all answers in even mathematics are yes
I'll
or
let you
no
finish.
answers.
Just let me know when you finish, and I'll ask the
Math
question.
actually proves that there are some axioms that are just true axiomatically. Not all questions, even not all equations, even in math, are true and false.
Okay, are
Do
you
you
finished?
understand this?
Are you finished? So, with that in mind, can you just quickly affirm that you claim to understand Gödel's incompleteness theorem? Because that'll make it more embarrassing once I ask you questions about it. Can you just say yes, you claim to understand it?
No one
Whoa.
can claim to know
Are you?
like the whole of any one
What
particular
is this?
set.
Are you like retarded or
Wait,
something?
wait.
Do you not
How
understand
does
this? I don't know. Like I dropped in halfway while you were having a tutoring session, and you have the temerity to like all of a sudden claim that, oh, you just made
temerity?
all this up, right? You were just like cosplaying for like 30, 40 minutes
Yeah, and it worked.
just to
Abismo,
bait,
It worked.
right?
Abismo, there's
I did
evidence.
Abismo in. This whole thing was for Abismo.
it
Dude, you're in a
worked.
psychosis. You're not
It
that
Abismo,
worked.
special, Hoppy.
take it from me, who you know is a middleman. It's just he did come in here looking for you, and then
Oh,
he
he
asked
did?
this
Oh,
question.
I was eating.
Yeah,
Thank you, Bubba. Yeah, because see, Bubba picked up on what we're doing here. Like it actually worked, Abismo. We came in, we pretended not to know basic logic things, and then you started to answer my questions as if you were kind of just somebody trying to help out, right? Help out
Yeah,
the
so
ignorant.
what you're engaged,
Ev-
sir, is in
Enough
ev-
said.
sophistry, all
It's
right? So
gibberish.
I have an answer for you
questions. What are
right
you
here,
talking
Oppie.
about?
We're gonna go through this together,
everything you
okay? Doubt should be replaced with problemization. Problemization raises an incompatible certainty. Either or, where it must be one or the other, the thing is certain, but only aspects are uncertain. Or both and, where the aspects are certain, but the relation in the thing is not. Doubt must be grounded in a certainty in order to objectively problematize the claim. doubt that does not invoke a certainty as part of problemizing another certainty is subjective doubt, an unfamiliarity with the matter at hand. Subjective doubt is really asking to become familiar with the matter at hand. Objective doubts are grounded in certainties. Subjective doubts, invoked as if they are arguments, are sophistry.
Is this like a
Objective
random
doubts can be
ramble?
used legitimately in arguments. You don't have an argument, sir.
Is that okay? That's actually okay. That's good. Let's start with that. So could you just define what an argument is for me, as it's kind of like standardly used in philosophy? Like, what do you think that is?
conclusion.
Yeah.
Abysmo?
I have another meme for you.
Dude.
Okay, so that's dodge one. Let's move on to a second question. Abysmo, do you think you could just
Sir,
generally
you're
describe
still
the
you're
difference?
still not getting it, right? Subjective doubt invoked as if they are arguments are just sophistry. You're just engaged in
Oh,
sophistry,
okay, that
right?
is
You
fair.
still haven't
Subjective
made a
doubt,
claim
yeah.
yet.
Okay, fine. I'll make a claim.
Right, no,
Abysmo
yeah,
knows
make a claim,
nothing.
please, before
I'll make
you
a claim.
continue to be in bad faith.
I'll make the claim right now. Yeah, Abysmo knows nothing about logic.
Okay, that's a fair claim.
Wait, when you say that, like, do you agree or do you disagree?
It's a valid claim, and the soundness is kind
Wait,
of relative, right?
it's valid. When you say it's valid, what do you mean there? Are you saying like it's true in all interpretations?
No,
Because I would
it's
agree with that.
formally valid, right? Like it would depend it would depend on whether or not Abismo, right, is able to demonstrate some sort of logical dexterity.
Wait,
So
so do
it's
Yeah.
you
it's
agree
relative,
that
right?
Abysmo knows nothing about logic?
Right. So
Like, do you
like
agree?
not like for example,
No, dude, there's a distinction between valid and
not
sound. You made
all
a valid proposition, but
not
nothing is
Motherfucker,
sound.
I already talked about this earlier. Why are you bringing this up again, dude?
So, so
like not
uh,
all mathematical equations are provable.
are you using valid
Not
here
all
as it relates?
mathematical
Hold on,
equations are true or false.
But they're just
hold on.
saying it's a valid
Abysmo,
proposition.
are you using valid here as it
That
relates to
doesn't mean
argument
that
or
doesn't mean that
formula?
the logical or excuse me, the mathematical axioms are
Uh-huh,
like
right.
not sound,
Of course.
right?
And Abysmo, are you using valid here as it relates to arguments or formulae?
How are this is a false dichotomy.
Bro.
That's a false
Okay,
dichotomy.
so how are you
How
using valid?
okay, so then how are you distinguishing formula versus an argument?
Yeah, an argument is a non-empty collection of premises and conclusion where at least one of them is designated to be the conclusion, and the premises are perhaps non-empty or empty. And then a formula, just the standard sense used in first order logic,
So
the
were you
recursively
trolling when
defined.
you came in here and just asked random questions?
Oh yeah, and
That's what I already
apophatic,
called out on.
you
Like I was like,
answered
dude, this
like a
guy's just
ton of
fucking
them.
trolling. That's why I stepped in. He's an
What
intuitionalist.
did you say,
You,
Oppie?
you answered a ton of them incorrectly. Like for one,
It's not true at
He's
arguments
all.
he's an
ar-
intuitionalist, dude.
arguments can have less than two premises.
Like
Um,
you're gonna, dude.
I'm
as
sure.
a gen-
I'm sure, dude.
yeah, as
I get
standardly
an
understood.
inference rule with less than two premises. I would love to see that. For the record, I don't claim to be a logic guru. I claim to be retarded.
Yeah,
It's
so for
cool.
instance, P
Yeah, which
therefore
one?
P would be a valid argument. That's pretty obvious.
E
I
therefore
don't know how you
P.
didn't know that.
No,
Yeah,
I
P
was
therefore.
P therefore Q, and then you prove P.
No, I'm just saying the argument premise one is P, conclusion is P.
P exists, therefore P exists.
No,
Is
I'm not.
is that
I
the
didn't say
syllogism
exist.
you're presenting?
P is no. There's no
You said
exist.
P
Just
therefore
P is
P.
answer.
The PP, you got a big PP, therefore big PP, right?
So perhaps to make sure you don't struggle with immaturity, I'll say Q, therefore Q. Maybe then
Okay,
you won't
Q
think about
therefore
random
Q.
things.
Can you tell me? So Q exists, therefore Q exists.
I don't know where you're getting exists from. Like, do you know
Okay, what
what
does
Q
Q
is there?
therefore Q refer to?
Yeah, it refers to a formula, and presumably here
Like,
we'll interpret it so it'll have some truth value. Maybe let's say
you
Q
have
denotes
no
the proposition.
knowledge of logic. You don't even know what you're talking
Say,
about.
yeah,
I'm
let's say it's
asking you to
interpreted
provide
as
an inference rule,
let's
right?
say
That would
Q
include
will
this,
be
and
interpreted as
give an example of Q.
yeah.
Q is
I'll
a
give you an example.
variable. What's going to be
So
in
let's say
place of this
Q is
variable?
interpreted as yeah. Let's say Q is interpreted as it is raining outside. Then the argument would be premise one: it is raining outside. Therefore, it is raining outside, and that's going to be a valid argument.
That is not a valid argument, you retard. That's a circular argument. That's not even an argument. So, that's literally just saying it is raining, therefore it is raining. Right? That is a
Amazing.
circular. Yeah, it's a circular appeal, viciously circular. What are
No,
you
it's
talking?
What if
amazing.
it's tautologically true? What if it is actually raining outside?
What?
Literally.
Okay, so when it refers to a
Amazing.
tautology, so raining is just identical to rain, right? It would just be.
This is amazing. I didn't realize somebody could be this stupid.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
this is
realize that
this
you
is why I
don't.
said earlier, like symbolic logic only has utility for like metaphysical reasoning.
Look,
Logic
you shouldn't be
help
using
you logic
terms
better.
that you don't
It doesn't help
understand,
you.
Abismo. You shouldn't be using terms you don't
If
understand.
logic doesn't have
It's
an
just
actual
generally a bad
application,
practice.
it can't prove its own statements as being true or its own, excuse me,
Can,
axioms as either being true or false. You can't do that with logic. Logic
yeah,
can't prove all of its
can
own
you define
equations.
what prove means as standardly used in mathematical logic? What does prove
It
mean?
has to actually be applied to either math or like real things in the world.
Yeah, do you know what prove means in math?
To show it cannot be any other way.
Like,
It's
what's the
just
formal definition of
a proof in math.
Why
You
did you
banned
just
him?
bounce? No, I did not. There's no
Someone,
banning.
someone banned him. He's banned.
That was not me.
Someone banned you. Aren't you the only person that can't? Oh no, mod guest room. Never mind. Who banned him?
Apathetic, did you ban him?
Maybe.
Apathetic.
Oh,
You
that's
didn't have
not a
to
good
ban him.
talk.
He
That's not a good
lied to
confess.
He lied to me, expecting answers to his questions for 15 fucking minutes straight. You expect me to? You want to entertain that guy? Are you serious?
Yeah, we could just keep
So
going around the
I
what?
mean,
circle.
I don't want to, but I'm also not
So
lying about
you have to
logic, right?
if you
Apathetic. You've trolled me in Christian chat before. You don't see like
the
me begging Rami to ban you.
the thing is
Okay, listen.
apathetic. If you let them keep going around in the circle, it really starts to wear down on their own kind of like feelings, like, and they start to get very insecure and they'll start to freak out. It just takes a little bit longer. It's kind of exhausting, but you just have to keep reminding them that their paradigm is just
Yeah,
set for life.
Ape is just a troll, dude. He was literally like, yeah. So like the answers you gave to my questions were just like mostly completely and totally wrong. Okay, yeah, right, totally. Love to see that. Oh yeah,
It's
there
just a
actually can
universal
be a
statement.
syllogism of like less than two premises. Like, yeah, it is raining, therefore it is raining.
Well, that's why I said it, like that could be a tautology though. Like it is rain. Like what if it is literally raining outside?
The stars
So,
here, everyone.
so
The
just one
stars.
question, right? So, like in classical logic, right? Is there anything that keeps you from deducing A from A? And if there's
No,
nothing that keeps you from deducing A from A, then I think it's valid, right?
yeah, just because you can deduce A from A does not mean that you can make a syllogism where P1 is it is raining in the conclusion, therefore it is raining, right?
I mean,
It,
a syllogism, usually,
The
right, when we talk about
stars here.
syllogisms, then they already have like a set of at least like two premises and a conclusion. But if we're just talking about like an argument, then
that's why I said two
perfectly
premises in the
fine to
conclusion. We were
define
talking
a
about syllogism, dude.
single premise
One second.
and then
One
a
second.
single conclusion from that single premise.
One second. We were talking about a syllogism, all right? Earlier, I said, in a syllogism, it is very common that there is not less than two premises. That's what I said.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
That you tell me that is demonstrably false. Yeah, and his argument was that is demonstrably false because in a syllogism, P1 can be it is raining, the conclusion could be therefore it is raining. That is not an argument. That's not even a valid form.
I
I
mean,
mean, it is
you see,
technically an argument,
now
but it's
you've done
just
the
begging the
same
Let's
thing.
question.
forget the
Yeah.
well, it's
Now you've done the
it's
same thing where you said it's about a syllogism, but then after that you mentioned that it's not even an argument and it's not valid either.
No,
But
he's
if
talking
it's
about
not
the
valid,
topic.
if it is not valid, hello,
I'm
then
saying
what keeps us from
Chucky,
deducing
you're
A
confusing the
from the
words.
fact that A is already true? This is
The
just the
stars
most
here.
basic things that you can get
A
to
is
in
true.
logic.
A is true because why?
A is true because why?
Yeah. So begging the question
What
is
kind
that
of
an
example is that?
informal or a formal fallacy? Can you answer the question?
Well, it would be something like an informal fallacy, right?
Oh, okay, right. So it has nothing to do with the form of an argument. You understand that, right?
Yeah, it's
So
not about the
I
form.
said, okay,
Validity,
let's say
validity is
stop.
concerned
You,
with what
you,
is
you
validity.
overtalk a lot, dude. Let's say somebody was trying to make an argument saying, "Hey, dude, it is raining, and that's why it's raining," right? And his syllogism was P1, it is raining. The conclusion is, therefore, it is raining. What fucking inference rule are you using for that syllogism? Can you answer the question?
Yeah, so I don't know what it's called in English. In German, it's called or maybe it might be called the reiteration rule. It just states that whatever
Reiteration rule.
is
It's just a
like on top
truncated
of your line,
syllogism.
you can just take that and you can pretty much pull it out, right? Whatever you already have, you can deduce that. That's just
Okay.
what it says.
Yeah, nobody disagrees with the
Yeah.
reiteration rule, right? But I'm saying that if you're presenting it as an argument for why you have that, you can't say P, therefore P. That's begging the
Well,
question.
obviously, in an argument, it's not going to be very convincing. And it's not
Oh,
going to be very convincing because it's circular, but that's an informal issue. And you said it's not valid. And validity is obviously concerned about the structure, right?
it's
So
not
if there's
sound.
no
It's
formal
not
issue,
sound.
then that
It's
would
not
mean that it is
sound.
valid.
I said, okay, I misspoke. It's not sound, right? And that's the point that I
But
was making earlier.
soundness is not okay. So it's valid, but it's not sound.
Yeah.
So there's no issue with
Yay.
the structure.
I was right.
Okay. Well, the point that I was trying to bring up right earlier to him in the conversation. By the way,
Wait,
yeah, I got
can you just
numerous
confirm that
things
it's
wrong
valid?
with answering
Because
this
that's my entire
question.
point. Like, I'm not
Uh,
trying to discuss whether it's sound or
okay,
not. I'm just saying
okay.
it's valid.
Are we talking about the point that he brought up or the point that you're bringing up? Because you're not steelmanning him very perfectly here, dude.
No, when you
Well,
say, I'll put
I
it in
think
very simple words. If you say a premise once, it's a formulae. But if you say a premise twice, with the second time you're mentioning it being the conclusion, then it's an argument.
Yes. Okay. And what? 1 second. What did I tell him? I told him if you are making an argument, you will likely not have. You will likely not have less than two premises. That's what I said to him. All right. And then he said, "Well, you're actually like demonstrably false about that because like you could have an argument that's only one premise." I'm like, "Are you fucking?
Empathetic.
Yeah. What's up, dude?
Sisters here.
What? How you doing, EK?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, this raccoon doesn't know what he's doing.
Usually it's basically like what, modus ponens? Something
Yeah,
like that.
modus ponens, if A,
That
then B,
require,
A therefore
yeah,
B, right?
yeah, that
2.
requires two or more premises, right? And usually
Yeah,
the argument is a modus ponens and whatever modus, whatever the fuck, tonens, whatever the
modus
fuck.
tollens,
Yeah. If it isn't one of those two, it's usually just considered not sound, but you can technically have a tautology as an argument. Maybe, I
Yeah,
It's not. It's still
you
not. It
can.
still wouldn't
You
be a
can.
tautology. Just because it's a truncated syllogism, it doesn't mean there's no rule of inference. The rule of inference has to be at least implied. That's why memes work in the first place.
What's the rule of inference for
Like no
P1
one runs
equals
around
P1?
with a tautology and claims that it's a meme. You're just being an idiot.
I don't know what you're saying, dude. I
Like
don't
you're
know
not
why
just
you're
gonna like run around with like a photo with someone's pants
Okay,
down. You know what I mean?
Abysmal. The
And
words
just
you're saying, how do they apply to this topic?
because he's talking about
No,
having
no, no.
a
The words you're saying.
having a working premise, right? That's merely, or excuse me, having a working conclusion that's only like a tautological premise.
Okay, dude, I need you to make the connectors here, okay? Abysmal, very quickly. The terms that you're using when responding to what somebody else said, how do they apply to what they said? Want to answer that question? Because like it sounds like you're just regurgitating terms you've heard before, and then just responding that way by just regurgitating terms you've heard from other people.
Yeah, and it was very mean.
No, I'm talking about truncated syllogisms and meme making. Having a working conclusion as merely just like the premise, like the first premise, there's no meaning in it. Like if you assume that people are running around with truncated syllogisms and it's just a formal form of a tautology, like it's a formal tautology, you're just wrong.
What?
I think what you mean. I think what you mean that an argument of that kind of with that kind of structure has very little like explanatory power. it's not going to be very convincing
It's
to
not even
people.
referring
If
to
you
anything with
tell them
explanatory
P
power,
because of P,
right?
they're not going to
Like if you
be
don't
likely
understand
to
how
accept that
memes
P is the
work,
case.
if you don't understand how memes work, then you don't know how to derive or establish meaning.
Memes?
What?
Do you know what a meme is, right?
Yeah. You mean like
What
the
is it?
funny internet picture? Or you mean something like
No,
means
a meme is just a truncated
something?
syllogism. It's just premise one and conclusion. And guess
Yeah,
what? The
you.
second premise is implied, correct? So just because you have a conclusion, right, that is tautological to the first premise, it doesn't mean that it's missing a rule of inference. That's what a meme is.
So I have no idea what you're talking about. Just to clarify,
Yeah,
are you talking about memes?
you're in a
Are you?
logical psychosis. You assume that people
How
I
are
is
mean,
this
making
okay,
memes
now
on
related
the
you're
to
yapping
internet at
here.
this
logic?
Now you're
point,
yapping. Hey, I
right?
was
And so
trying to
you're
ask
just
you a
taking it
clarification.
you're just taking it for
Yeah,
granted that since people
I
use
need
memes
something
on
clarified
Twitter,
because
I can
I
run
think that I
around
Bubba,
with
give
understand.
me
like a bunch
random
of
big words so that I
unqualified
can
or
say it.
unjustified premises as a working conclusion. That's what you're doing.
Hey, so did you mean means like in a way of like you say something, the means to do something, or you
No,
actually meant
memes,
memes?
M-E-M-E, like an enthymeme.
Meme.
An
Okay,
Are you
so
enthymeme.
memeing about
He's
that
talking
then?
about
do
memetics.
memes.
Okay,
Yeah, but
Like it can
Richard
look
how do
Dawkins.
memes
like a
correlate to
tautological
watch what I'm
memes?
gonna do.
conclusion,
Watch
right?
what I'm gonna do.
No
It's a
Or a
very
pun
fun
conclusion
intended.
trick.
based
I'm
on a
just talking
tautological
quietly in the
premise,
background.
but
Memes.
that's not
Memeing
what's
us.
happening. The
So,
second
Are
premise
you
is
memeing me?
implied.
okay, Bismo. So I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about like a universal potentiation of the monad. Yeah, that's what you're talking about, right? That's what you're talking about.
He's talking about the
Raccoon
monad.
got fucking destroyed.
Yeah,
just
fuck that raccoon.
Like you
Raccoon
have
Yeah,
got
these
bro.
fucking
fucking
So
idiot
illogical.
raped.
internet analytical logic clowns that don't even understand like how people are actually like
let me
using
say
memes
big
across the
terms and
internet,
then
and
Hey,
complain.
I'm
because they
sorry.
can't,
I don't want to
like
be rude,
they get
but why are
autistic
people
about it
spewing
in their
about
freaking,
logic on Discord when it's
in their
quite
dorm
obvious that they
rooms
themselves haven't
trying to
even taken a
create
Logic
like
101
new
course?
arguments, based on like truncated syllogisms or what or
Truncated?
Oh damn
I
it,
don't
Bubba's
even know what
different.
that
I'm
means.
still thinking
Bro's
of
just making up words at this
101 room because
point.
Wait,
people
wait.
need it.
Can you show me
you
that
guys are
word
cooked.
truncated exists?
No, I mean literally Gen Z is
Maybe I just
cooked.
don't know. What is truncated?
Bubba, would you want to attend my philosophy 101 room, Bubba? Do you want to attend?
Sure. I probably won't be listening very much, but I will.
Oh, you won't. You don't want to listen.
I will be there for emotional support, but not for learning.
You can be there for emotional support, Pookie.
I'll be here for the memes, guys.
I'm gonna do the truncated syllogism and the memes. I'm just telling you, dude.
Truncated. Are you truncated about that?
I'll show you something else that's truncated.
I'll show you a trunk.
Your
That's a
head is
meme, see?
truncated.
How cultural evolution works. Memes 101.
I still want you to prove the word truncated exists.
I'm just gonna. It's a very simple way. Just do what I think a lot of people do is and just chat GPT the word
Oh my
truncated.
gosh.
Yes, it might be real.
Let me consult my chat GPT here.
Wait, hold up. Are
Truncated.
you confusing meme with this?
Pausing for
Oh my god! There's no way. There's absolutely no way.
wait, what? A youth? I don't know what that is. Enthymeme? Enthymeme? I really don't know what that is. I feel like I'm missing something.
You pronounced it correct, enthymeme. An enthymeme is an argument with a hidden premise,
Okay.
or also known as a truncated syllogism.
Truncated syllogism. Tell me if this is the same as what that is, because I just chat GPT'd it. Is essentially a syllogism where one of the premises is implied rather than explicitly stated.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
It
hidden
is.
purpose in an argument.
Like you guys are a bunch of these analytic intuitionalists are a bunch of fucking morons.
Dude,
Bro, why?
I
The
really
thing that
don't
I
like
don't get,
intuitionistic,
like,
bro. I really don't.
if you want to
Like
rant about
they
logic
totally
that
lost the
much,
plot.
hey,
Misappropriate.
I mean,
Abysmo. If you
this
want
is
to
this
rant
is like
about logic that much,
you know that
why do you
episode
even
on
want to
Black
call
Mirror
others
where they're like
illogical
stuck
when
with
you
their eyes
yourself
open and they're just
are
getting like
condemning
fed
logic?
like propaganda from commercials and stuff.
He's just going.
That's what's happening
So
in class
Abysmal,
right now.
Abysmal.
I just completely agree,
It
Abysmal.
seems
It's just
it
really
seems like
crazy.
you're opposed to like Western analytic philosophy and the way they do logic. But like, what kind of logic are you're pointing to when you're telling us you guys are like illogical? You're like in
No, we're not
illogical
saying that you're
psychosis.
illogical, right? But it could be a form of question begging, depending on what kind of like logical formula or symbolic
To
formulas you're
use the
running with.
reiteration rule, like using the reiteration rule is
It's
it's
just
somehow
redundant. It's
like
needlessly redundant.
an enthymeme or whatever it's called. Is that what you're saying?
It's when one.
Because I'm
It's just
really just trying to
it's
get
just
what you're.
meaningless, dude. It's
Wait,
needlessly
Okay,
Abysmal.
redundant.
Did you mean
but
this, or do you still mean meme? Because there are memes that are full on arguments with multiple premises, right? And they wouldn't be truncated. Like there's a literally yo mama joke I've written as a syllogism.
Here's a video, meme 101. It's from Daniel Dennett himself. Let's just read it. Just watch it. It's 7 minutes long. It's easy.
yeah, but
Just learn.
Know
you could
what
just
Daniel Dennett
explain it
is.
to me instead of insulting people and telling them that they have like
Apathetic, I'm
psychosis.
officially more interested in that philosophy room.
I know, right? I know, right, Bubba? Aren't you?
Want to just make it a room of two, and then me and you will have make a date.
Make a date night?
I'll get the
No,
popcorn.
did we just figure out you're having a kid, dude?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't see
That's
anything
A
insane.
lot of people in this room don't know that.
I don't see
oh,
anything
okay.
concerning
My bad. I
syllogism in this
apologize.
video.
No
So
one in this room is allowed to know that I'm having a kid.
You're pregnant?
I'm not
Alex, keep scrolling. This is a new
pregnant.
based. Yeah, bro, get rid of the psychikos and embrace the pneumaticos. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, before we continue, I looked at the transcript of the video you provided, and I don't see anything concerning truncated syllogisms or implicit premises.
So what does he say, right? Richard Dawkins, he developed the term meme in his
Hmm.
1976 book, The Selfish Gene. So
Yeah, but
where do
he's
you
a
think
retard.
where do you think the idea of meme comes from? And what if you actually read the book The Selfish Gene,
What?
that's what
We're
or excuse
talking
me,
about memeing?
Richard Dawkins is actually talking about. Right?
So let me look
That
that up.
there are cultural forms of evolution, right? There are certain ideas that are passed down, right, that survive more than others because we accept them and they're useful to us.
No, you're absolutely wrong. So I looked up the etymology. The term meme is a shortening of meme, which comes from ancient Greek, a completely different word than enthymeme, meaning imitated thing.
Have you read Richard Dawkins's Selfish Gene?
I don't have to. The guy who wrote this Wikipedia has read it, and he cites it as proof for his statement.
I
You see,
heard
that's called
meme.
outsourcing intellectual labor. I'm a genius. I'm sorry. Abysmal. Now that I've posted this, I posted the etymology of enthymeme.
Yeah. And teme
Enthymeme.
is mind, right? Is to imitate the mind. Don't you get it? Meme is just like a what?
No, to keep in mind, and meme is to imitate.
Aristotle's the one that talks a little bit about enthymeme, right?
Dude, they come from completely different
In
words.
his
Please.
rhetorics. I don't know if you've like read his rhetorics.
Dude, in the Greek words that they come from is different than the other Greek word that the other
No,
comes from.
right. So Richard Dawkins, right, is a shorthand, right, for because Richard Dawkins is not trying to say the same thing that Aristotle's saying. He's saying when it comes to like things like fads, fashion, like viral cultural ideas that people have, it can come from all different types of
Yeah,
sources,
but
right?
Richard
And
Dawkins
we
was not using
usually
the
we
word
usually
enthymeme.
take it as implied that people understand because of popular or popular access or apprehension, accessibility, right? And he shorthands this idea, right, as a meme,
Yes,
right? But
but
where he gets that is from, like he refers back to Aristotle and his kind of short treatment of what an enthymeme is, a truncated syllogism.
okay. So the etymology of the word is not
Yeah.
enthymeme. So
So
what is it?
so Enthymos, right, is mind. So then what is meme? It's to mimic, right? So
Okay, so
how do cultural fads, fashions transmit? That's Richard Dawkins' thesis.
I
Yeah,
looked it
and
up
he
on
says
the
that it travels through quote unquote memes.
so I looked up the entire thing on the Wikipedia. It does not mention enthymeme anywhere. Next step is me downloading the book and just pressing Ctrl F on the entire book, and then the word.
So
If that word doesn't pop up in the book, what's the answer
when
then?
Aristotle talks about enthymemes, he talks about it in rhetorics, right? Because for him, the whole point of argument is to convince, right? That's the telos of argument, is to convince people.
Argument. Didn't you have a thing for argumentative versus debate?
Okay, I'm downloading the book. Hope you and your wife the best of pregnancies. Unironically, sometimes I sound sarcastic when I don't mean to.
Abysmal, are you trolling?
Nah, bro, he's memeing.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
it's the
looked at the Wikipedia for the book. I
bubble.
looked at, let's say, an online PDF with an AI tool to basically help like ask questions about the book. I'm not seeing anything where basically like Aristotle talking about enthymeme is brought up.
Yeah,
I
so
think
like so the word meme, Richard Dawkins coins that word for himself.
I know,
And
we
then
know.
later when he talks about like his book, he says that that's where he got the notion of meme from, right? So he
Which word did he
literally
get it from?
he's the one who coins the term meme as like
Yeah,
we know it today.
he didn't get it from enthymeme. He got it from meme,
No, no,
whatever.
no. That's what the Greek word means, right? But
No, enthymeme comes from a completely different Greek word.
I think you need to read his book.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, you're trolling me, right? You're actually
He's
trolling me.
trolling.
Or, okay, Abismo, this is the second time something like this has happened.
No,
Are
no.
you trolling, or is
Here,
this an
here's the
ego
thing.
thing?
In one sense, okay, so what you guys are trying to do as intuitionalists, right?
You're
By
kidding me?
taking real world examples, right? Where people are running
You should
around
get
with
used to this,
memes,
dude.
right? Assuming that the
Right?
conclusion is just a tautological conclusion of a working first premise. You get what I mean?
Right?
To assume that there isn't a second premise and rather that it's hidden, that's a mistake that you're making, right? You're either choosing to willfully be obtuse of what the rule of inference is because you're choosing to reject it as an intuitionalist, because that's what intuitionalists do.
Dude, I am not talking about any of
Intuitionalists
that.
deny the law of excluded middle and also of double negation. So
So
you guys come
what
up
does
with
this have to do with the
sets
topic?
of
What is the
you
connector?
guys come up with sets of contradictory predicates.
I'm gonna go smoke a pipe. This is
That's literally what's happening.
Why are we
I'm
talking
telling
about
uh
you right
memes?
now, I have nothing to do with
So
anything you just
it's
said. Oh
totally
my
feasible,
god,
right?
what's going
How like as a Gen Z intuitionalist analytic, you might actually confuse like a meme that you
You're
see on
killing
Twitter
me,
or
dude.
internet, in the
Are
way that
you
I
memeing about
described it, when
memeing?
what it really is an enthymeme.
Chunky
And
Raccoon.
if you read Dawkins's book, he talks about the ways in which people pass on ideas through just like mere imitation. But
Abismo.
it's not
I
that these imitations are unfounded or ungrounded. They're actually referring to like
Fuck
real
me, bro.
like working
Abismo. The only thing I care
cultural
about
ideas, right?
is whether the word meme comes from the
Like
word enthymeme.
it wouldn't have been popular in the first place if there was some evolutionary predetermined,
Dude, have you been
acknowledgement
taking stimulants? No,
of that
Abysmal.
idea.
You mentally okay?
Abismo. I think you
Abysmal.
I think you just saw the words had like four letters in common towards the end, and you thought one came from
No,
the
no, no,
other.
no, no. That's the
Fuck my
mistake.
life.
No, no, no. That's a mistake people make, right?
Yeah, you're apparently one of those people.
I think you're too hung up on the etymology without understanding the context by which someone like Richard Dawkins, who actually coins the term, right,
Richard
means by what
Dawkins
he means by a
describes
meme.
the etymology in his book. He says it's from a completely different word. Richard Dawkins disagrees with you.
And he's a bad
Dawkins. His name is Dawkins. Trust me.
and he hates philosophy.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing while I'm talking. I apologize.
Dawkins hates philosophy.
Richard Dawkins. Esoteric paternalism. Let me talk to you, bro.
Yeah, I'm a
Look.
fucking idiot, dude. Don't do yourself the trouble. I need to see this crack. I need to understand that there's a human underneath, not an NPC, and someone who will admit that they made a mistake. Like it's driving me, bro. I don't know.
I think you're just trying to save face from
Agrippa,
being
check
Fuck
called out
that.
for being
DMs. Check DMs.
being in a logical psychosis. I think you're starting to realize that denying certain formal laws of logic really isn't helping you make meaning out of statements like either that you're finding on the internet or like in your own life or in the symbolic logic that you're practicing daily. It's not going to lead to any truth, right? Like we
How
already
do you
know
know that?
this mathematically. There's certain formulas, right, or axioms even within math that don't have a true or false answer to them. But we
Give me an
still use them as
example.
axioms. You're not going to be able to formalize all of human meaning making, myth making, culture. You're not going to be able to formalize it at all.
How do you know that?
Okay, continue. I mean, you're free to continue to delude yourself.
I don't
It's a
know. I
psychosis.
trust greater philosophers than me. I follow the great Plotinus.
Oh, bro. Okay. You know what? You know what? I feel like this VC was a big waste of time. I wasted my time on that fucking Oppie guy that was asking me questions under the impression I thought he was being genuine, right? And I was giving him genuine responses, responses that I mean pretty much anybody else knowledgeable in logic would give.
But you got
This guy just
catfished.
I got catfished, bro. By a guy that literally knows like two things and then like he knows rhetoric and like being a debate bro. And that's all he knows. And just being a debate bro.
No, I like
As soon as you
admitting when I
called him
don't.
out on whether he was talking about disjunctions, and then he tried to provide you like a proposition of like two unrelated like sets or statements where he was just trying to like modify, right?
Like he
It's just
literally
an
asked me questions
uncomfortable.
about he was like, so somebody was telling me this like um all x's b um c is x, therefore c is b, and I was like, well, that's called a universe. Like he had me explain every fucking structure to him. Yeah, that's called a universal instantiation of modus ponens. And he was like, "Oh yeah, what about this one? Either A or B, not A, therefore B." I was like, "It's called a disjunct." He had me like explain every fucking syllogism to him under the sun, every inference rule, pretty much. That common one.
That's
Modus
fucking
ponens,
crazy.
modus tollens is fucking bro.
Yeah,
He's just
because
fucking lying. He's just lying.
That's fucking insane, bro.
That's fucking insane, Cody. That's
Fucking
fucking insane. It's fucking crazy that you're saying this. Fucking crazy.
Does anyone here want to play Fortnite with me?
No.
Oh, motherfucker, bro. Intuitionistic logic is a subset of classical logic that doesn't accept certain rules that are central to classical logic, such as the law of excluded middle and double negation elimination. Holy fucking shit.
and then they replace it with disjunctive logic.
Disjunction logic is a logical connective that expresses the concept of or. It is a statement of alternatives and is usually written as PVQ in
It only
mathematical
works in a
notation.
symbolic situation. But even if you do this, like you're not going to be able to prove that axiom.
Why the fuck do people overcomplicate logic like this, bro? Logic is just logic, okay?
But this is not overcomplicating it. This is like barely scratching the surface.
No,
Yeah, you guys are in psychosis. It's
psychosis.
sad, but it's true. You have a lot of functional people with like psychological
I mean, you're just
disorders.
repeating yourself. If you want to repeat the
Like
same
there are high
insults, then you
functioning
can do that.
autists as well.
But at a certain point, I will
It does,
repeat the
Oh,
same
just because
insults back
there are
to you,
autists
and you
doesn't
might
mean
not
that
like
they're
it.
not
Shit.
useful to
Abismo, have
society.
you ever
Fuck.
realized that there's actually like a
Yeah, you can still
condition?
be useful to
What?
society, esoteric. You don't have to like formally justify why you're
Someone
important.
send me a video of you in DMs, and I wanted to know if this was you or not. I'll send it to you.
Oh shit, I gotta go. Fuck. My fucking mom's awake. Fuck me. In so much trouble, bro. Holy shit.